I think it's a great campaign. It's lovely because we know these characters. I mean, they've been around for 70 years. It's like they're part of our culture in a way. Could you comment on the importance of having this campaign with these characters who are part of our, culture?
Well, believe it or not, it does seem kind of convenient. We did come up with the concept of Take Care with Peanuts long before you had ever heard of what the coronavirus is. After we met with everybody that works on Peanuts around the world in the fall of 2019, and we started talking about what should we do as we're close to 75 years old now. We're going to be 71 this year. So we thought, mindfulness and taking care of the environment were key aspects. And so thus Take Care with Peanuts was born.
I think the message is very important because regardless of the pandemic, any time is a good time to bring this kind of message, but right now it's even more important. Do you think it's a campaign for adults or kids or for everybody? I'm a kid and I love it.
Well, I always say that to like Peanuts, the only thing that is required of you is that you must be a human being. And so while the social messages are animated for young children, you and I both love them too. And I think everybody feels the anxieties and joys and all the feelings and emotions that Peanuts brings us at any age.
In general, with the isolation that we have, everybody in the world has to suffer or have to follow to avoid the spreading the virus. I think that we have questioned ourselves at many levels. And I think that for me, it's very touching to see Lucy doing therapy to people. Like I will go to her, she will be my therapist.
It's true that Peanuts characters can bring so much joy and happiness to people, especially during this time. But Lucy often can be a little bossy and crabby, but still, I think in this the short that was released this month, it's very endearing.
At what level? When did you start the campaign, and how are you? Who is the target to? You said you just need to be a human being, but maybe you have a marketing strategy.
Well, as you mentioned, the Peanuts brand turned 70 last year. So we're, as someone who's worked on the brand for many years, one of our charges is to bring the brand to new generations. So Take Care with Peanuts speaks to everybody of any age. We, of course, are trying to educate younger audiences about Peanuts so that they feel in 20 years that they want their kids to know about the brand, about Snoopy.
How much has the world changed in terms of, for Snoopy and all of the friends, with the digital virtual reality?
So the Peanuts characters live in their own world. They don't change. They'll never have a cell phone or an iPad because they didn't in the comic strip. But what's been really exciting working on the brand for as long as I've seen different iterations of animation. I've seen a more 2D look of the animation and into 3D from the Peanuts movie several years back. And so what I love about the new Take Care with Peanuts messages is they're even a new and fresh look for the characters, but yet they're living in the world that we know.
So, Melissa, what makes all these great characters, Peanuts, part of our own culture? An important, they're a very intense reference, right? And why do you think that is?
I think that people appreciate Peanuts because it just speaks to human emotions. We all feel joy. We all feel happiness. We feel sadness. You don't have to like spaceships to like Peanuts. You don't have to like superheroes. You just have to be human. And it speaks to our humanity. I also think what's really interesting is that Charles Schulz created these sort of bite-sized messages that translate now into the world of social media, where they're just short, very simple messages that everybody can relate to.
I feel that the characters have their own life regardless of Mr. Schultz, because he's not with us anymore, and but he created this identity. It's like a movie that you can watch and you can enjoy over and over with a great message. How independent are these characters? Or it's a weird question.
Well, I think, Charles Schulz drew 18,000 strips. So even though the characters seem to change and the animation seems to be new and fresh, if you go back and read the 18,000 strips, those messages are there. It's just in a different format now.
At what level? Why didn't you integrate more characters in this campaign? Lucy and yeah.
So this campaign just kicked off in the last several months. And as I mentioned before, we are planning on keeping this project going through the 75th anniversary. So this is just a tease, just a beginning of what we expect the campaign will be for the next several years.
Melissa, do you know which are the territories in which Peanuts have most followers, and why is that? Because I don't think they have to be Anglophones. I mean, English speakers. They can be any. They speak any language, right?
Yes, Peanuts is actually a truly global brand. And what is also interesting about it is it means different things in different territories. If you ask someone in Italy, what does Peanuts mean to you? They'll say it's a fashion brand. Or if you go to Japan, they think the simple look of Snoopy's face is kawaii, as they call it, cute. And then, of course, in Latin America, we see the brand really, really extremely popular on social media. We can always count on Mexico and Brazil to be right there supporting the characters in our social channels.
I guess they're so loved by everybody that maybe your job is CC. I don't know. No, I'm sure it's not, but
No, I am honored and lucky to be working on a brand that almost everybody in the world loves. So I am not going to try to say that that is not easy. And what is great about it, I have worked on the brand for 20 years, is that there's always something new. There's always another story that we can tell. And so I find my job, where it's challenging in a good way, is finding all these new angles and fun ways to communicate the characters to new generations.